computer or not, but I know Rue and
No,
myself are.
no, I do my things through my phone.
Welcome everyone to the Horsemen Hangout. We are live here on this January 28th, 2015, coming to you live from my house. Today, I am hosting because Mr. Justin is skiing and Mr. Zorzi is MIA as well. He's not home. And Mr. Page and Mr. Lane and myself are the esteemed panel for this evening. Mr. Lane, first, how are you?
Well, I'm doing good right now, man. I mean, I was just in the southern part of New Jersey for about 48 hours, like 52 hours almost. So, but I'm glad to be back in Williamstown, back in my apartment. So, I've been looking forward to this show. I mean, I'm sorry that I wasn't on last week's show, but I did have a private video thoughts. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I did do a private video on YouTube personally. So, you know,
Yeah, I
I might
tried viewing
release
it.
it.
Like I was telling you on Sunday night. I tried viewing it and it just wouldn't let me do it for some reason. I
Right,
don't know.
right. I remember your message there, Steve. I did get that. Yes.
Mr. Lane, how many days were you hunkered down, so to speak, in the hotel there?
Well, I thought. Well, it was a couple nights. I was there for two nights. I had paid for it ahead of time. I thought we were going to get this major snowstorm, but that didn't happen because it just didn't happen like it should have. I was just looking at
Right.
some of the stories, like Worcester, Massachusetts, for example, had, I believe, over 3 feet of snow. They had over 35 inches of snow in Worcester, Massachusetts, man. That's
Worcester.
a
Yeah.
that's a lot of freaking snow because I saw it on the CNN Facebook page, by the way. So
Stephen Page, how the heck are you tonight, Stephen? Thank you for joining us on short notice.
Yeah, no problem. I'm always available. I don't do too much. I pretty much am a homebody. So
Yeah, same here. Homebodies represent. Yeah. So anyway, obviously, guys, we're gonna top off the show with the biggest story of the week, which is the Royal Rumble. I mean, I was there with a couple Horsemen Hangout members, Justin and Zorzi, and a couple other friends, and that I saw there. Question is, did you enjoy the Royal Rumble? The big news coming out, Roman Reigns is the winner. Obviously, the Philadelphia crowd did not enjoy that. We were booing very loudly, probably the loudest boos that I've ever heard for a wrestler, let alone a babyface. Stephen Page, what were your thoughts on Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble? Now, this is basically what we all thought was going to happen, but I don't think anybody expected this kind of negative reaction from the live crowd, and then afterwards on Twitter. Your thoughts, Mr. Page?
I enjoyed the Royal Rumble, but then I really went back and watched it, and I listened to a podcast with a few people, and they kind of were right. Dave Meltzer was on a little bit. I listened to a little bit of Talk is Jericho, and he talked about how this Royal Rumble just didn't. I don't know. There was no substance to it. He said all they cared about was Roman Reigns winning, and they didn't put any other thoughts into, different things. It was just like it was Roman Reigns, and everybody else didn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously the chosen one. Mr. Lane, what are your thoughts on the Rumble?
well, I thought the Royal Rumble was from what I've heard mediocre at best. From what I've heard. Having said that, I thought, and this is just my personal thoughts on the thing. The Royal Rumble, I thought the best match was not the Royal Rumble itself. I thought the Royal Rumble was subpar a little bit. I could see why, because a lot of the people wanted to see Daniel Bryan later in the match. He got eliminated way too early, and I think that's where a lot of people, including yourselves there, were probably mad and upset because they wanted to see Daniel Bryan in the match a little bit more. They probably wanted to see Dolph Ziggler in the match a little bit more. And I thought the championship match was very good. I thought it was an excellent freaking match. I thought it was very good. That was probably the match of the night, was that WWE triple threat match
definitely.
with with Seth Rollins, John Cena, and Brock Lesnar. That was the match of the pay-per-view right there.
Yeah,
If it wasn't for that match, I don't think that pay-per-view would have succeeded the way it did. See, a lot of people just didn't like Roman Reigns. It's a head scratcher to me why he got booed, but I have some thoughts and theories of my own of why I feel, and I'll get to that later on why I feel Roman Reigns should have won the Royal Rumble, quite frankly. And it's gonna be some material that I'm gonna have to get off my chest. I have to.
Yeah, I hear you. And being there live, I don't dislike Roman Reigns. I just don't like the concept of Vince McMahon handpicking someone to be the chosen one, to be the guy that's going to face Brock Lesnar. You really should listen to the fans. Now the argument can be made, well, the Philadelphia fans, they don't represent the masses because they're just a niche audience and they want their hardcore and Ring of Honor style wrestling, and they don't know really what's good for them. Well, I disagree with that. I think Philly and New York are very smart, intelligent crowds, and you can you can use them, engage their responses to how a guy is going to get over. It's almost like if you're going to be a star, you have to be over in New York and Philadelphia. If Philadelphia is booing you, it's just not going to happen. I'm telling you, Roman Reigns, if he is going to succeed, he has to be a heel. And his promos stink. He can always improve, but in my opinion, he needs a manager. And when Brock Lesnar, post-Mania, if he leaves, if he stays, doesn't matter, I think Paul Heyman needs to be Roman Reigns' manager, and they need to be heel. That might even happen before WrestleMania, because, to be honest with you, Brock Lesnar's getting babyface reactions and cheers. He certainly did in that awesome triple threat match. Anybody else want to add anything to this?
I think on the Brock Lesnar leaving WWE, he's definitely leaving WWE in my book. Yeah. I looked at him Sunday and I saw him. When he first came in, he was in good shape in his arms and area, but his abs and stuff are getting tighter, and I think he's getting he's cutting weight, as they like to say, for UFC, to go back to UFC. I really think Brock Lesnar is done with WWE after WrestleMania.
You could potentially be right. It's a shame that he weighs so much more than CM Punk, because how cool would a CM Punk Brock Lesnar fight be in UFC, man? That would be record-breaking numbers. Mm. But anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing CM Punk. There were a few scattered CM Punk chants at the Rumble, but for the most part, a lot of I love seeing Bubba Dudley back in the WWE. It's been about 10 years since he's been there. He's been in TNA for the past 10 years. And was it just me, or it looked like Bubba gained a little weight since he was Bully Ray? It looked like he got a little softer, but
he looked the same to me. I thought he looked the same, and furthermore,
the way he was wearing that old style Dudley,
Yeah, I think you're right, because I thought you were absolutely right, Steve, because I think his outfit was the same exact outfit that he wore back then, so maybe that's why he looked a little heavier than he was, because in TNA, man, he lost a lot of weight and got pretty jacked, and he was at a time, I don't know if it was 2011 or 2012, I want to say 2012, he was the best heel in the business if you watched TNA back then. Those were the last days that I kind of tuned in to TNA around 2012, and then post 2012, I totally just zoned out.
You're not a real wrestling fan. You don't watch TNA.
Oh no, I'm not a real wrestling fan. Don't watch TNA, and I am not threatening my cable company with a knife because they don't carry the El Rey network. I'm not a real wrestling fan.
No. Oh well. Well, I wanted to ask you Rue a question, quite frankly. Now, you said you were at the Royal Rumble. Now, yeah. I read something in the wrestling news things. Now, is this true that they confiscated CM Punk signs at the event? Because that's what I heard, that they confiscated CM Punk signs at the Royal Rumble. Now, what's your angle? What's your take on that, man?
They did confiscate CM Punk signs, but the example that I have for you is not a CM Punk sign, but it is related. I don't know if any of y'all saw the huge Colt Cabana head in the crowd.
Right.
Yeah, that was earlier in the show. That got confiscated. So they're really strong about confiscating signs now, very against freedom of expression. Not like they used to be. But yes, to answer your question, they were confiscating signs that were anti-WWE or pro something that goes against WWE, like CM Punk, UFC. They took a sign away that said Roman Reigns plus Mike equals no good or something like that. Something derogatory towards Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
I saw Roman Reigns promo. What's that, Stevie?
Yeah. I think confiscating signs. Okay, I get the CM Punk signs. You know, he's away from the company now, but you know, fans should be able to express themselves. They're the ones that pay the ticket. As long as it's not so derogatory where it'd be, you know, offensive to somebody. You know, if somebody brought in a sign with, you know, a chick naked on it, you know,
Right.
or something like that, you know, one of the Divas Playboy pictures all blown up or something like that, I can see them confiscating something like that, but,
Right.
you know, we used to see a lot of signs back in the day, you know, that had some, you know, things that might be construed to people as, you know, insensitive or something like that.
Right.
But people should have the freedom of expression, and if it's not hurting anybody, I don't see why, you know, WWE is so against, you know, sign. I'm surprised they even allow people to bring signs in.
I will say
I've never been one to go to events with signs personally. I've never, I don't know, but that's, you know, if that's your thing. I personally hate signs at events, especially if I'm on the floor. I've had a lot of problems with fans just holding them up. They just want to get them. Some fans are just trying to get themselves over, as they say, you know.
Well, I see two things with signs, quite frankly. I'm sorry, Rue, but I've seen two things with the signs, quite frankly. When I went to a Raw show years ago, they encourage you to hold the signs anyway. And then number two, you know, then to have, like you just said, Steve, freedom of expression, like you were saying. I mean, but then they probably tell you specifically what signs you can have, what signs you cannot have either. And then you had the PG era, and then you have the Attitude era. Those are unfortunately two different eras. See, when me and Rue were watching back in high school was basically the Attitude era, where you could, like, you know, say anything you wanted to, as long as it wasn't like too vulgar. You could say, you know, the ASS, but you can't say the F word or any of that. I know ECW, they would always use the F word if you messed something up in the ECW arena. That's probably very common, you know, when it was in the ECW days and whatnot. But I would say, you know, Philadelphia and New York, by far, you know, are very knowledgeable wrestling fans by a lot. Yeah, I agree with that. Very true. So I'll let you go.
They weren't checking signs at the door. What they do is once the show starts, they kind of scan the audience. If they see something, then they tell security. WWE tells security to remove the sign. If the fan refuses to remove the sign, then the fan is kicked out. So I had experience about 10 years ago at a TNA sign that I brought to Raw that they told me put away, and shortly thereafter they ripped up. And the next day I sent an email to Dixie Carter, and she said, thank you for supporting us, and I'm going to send you a care package. Dixie Carter sent me a poster, a couple posters, something else too, I forget.
Mm-hmm.
But that's back when Dixie Carter was the PR queen and a nice lady, and now she's in over her head and just, I don't know, southern redneck power trip. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, I've never heard too many things. People say that she's a nice person, but I've also heard some things that are contrary to belief of that on a few podcasts. I've heard, you know, she's not exactly the Southern Belle she wants to portray herself to be. She's not very knowledgeable, I guess, either.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. One thing I wanted to talk about, guys, and give me a second as I find this. Dave Meltzer, WrestleMania WrestleMania 30. Okay. Wait a minute. What WrestleMania is next year? 30 this year. 31, right? Or 30?
31, yes.
31. All right, wrong one. Okay. All right. So the matches that I was reading here that Dave Meltzer is reporting. Well, I can just tell you. I remember what they are. Right now, the card it confirmed in stone. I mean, they're not announced on the air, but these matches are confirmed in stone. Triple H versus Sting is confirmed. That's going to happen. Okay, so whether they'll probably stretch that out over a couple Raws and do a contract signing and do the angle and promos and stuff, but that's confirmed for WrestleMania. Triple H versus Sting. Also, obviously, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. I also heard the likely match for Bray Wyatt is Bray Wyatt versus Undertaker. That's going to be the match. I cannot see Undertaker jobbing to Bray Wyatt, which he should, honestly. And Bray Wyatt should have been the guy that broke the streak because, he's a young guy, whereas Brock's going to leave. But anyway, I don't think Undertaker's going to lose 2 years in a row. I think Taker's going to win that. And also another match is Cena versus Rusev. That's a program that they're going to be starting soon if they kind of hinted at it. But Cena versus Rusev.
Let me ask you something about this. I got into a debate with somebody on Twitter about this last night or the other night. How the hell are they going to have Rusev, with Rusev his finisher being a move you would have to tap out to, and we rarely see John Cena tap out.
Good point.
How they're going to have to give Rusev, if they're going to do this program, they're going to have to make Rusev do another finisher.
Well, wait a minute.
If he were to go over.
Is Rusev still undefeated?
Yes.
Well, then Cena's going to beat him. I think that's the whole point of it.
Yeah, I think so too. He's never been pinned or submitted. And I know he's been counted out, and I think he's been disqualified because I think he was counted out during the Survivor Series, but he's never ever in WWE that I can recall, and I know he'd be on NXT anyway, that he's ever been pinned or submitted in WWE competition.
I think Cena is going to be the all-American flag-waving guy, typical cookie-cutter crap, and I think he's going to win against Rusev. But reality is, like Steven said, he thinks Rusev should get a new finisher because the reality is Rusev should win. I mean, he's the young gun. Cena's been there since 2002. I mean, if you want to build for the future, Rusev should beat John Cena. But I don't see that happening. Another match that they
just to add another.
What's that?
Like Cena.
What's that?
And it's to the list of fans not liking Cena. Fans have a list of reasons not to like John Cena, and a lot of people have this aura of them not putting over younger guys and wanting to make the business grow and further the business.
Right. Yeah, I hear you. Speaking of younger guys, another match that could be a potential show stealer that it looks like this one opponent has been shooting his own angle on Twitter, and that is Dolph Ziggler. And the plan right now is to have Dolph Ziggler face Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. So definitely a step down for Daniel Bryan. No offense to Dolph Ziggler, is an awesome in-ring talent. But, to go from the main event of WrestleMania to be injured for 8 months and then to get a mid-card match against Dolph Ziggler is definitely a step down in my book. And, I don't know, to me, I honestly, Daniel Bryan's pretty much the most over babyface in the WWE right now. I mean, he's a small guy. He's already won the title. They already did it last year with him. But the fact of the matter is he's still over. So I would probably find a way to put him back into the world title picture, honestly. I would probably try and do something. I don't know if you want to, if there's a way to do it, but he deserves to be in the main event still because he's still the most over, and he still is a draw in terms of my opinion. I haven't looked at the ratings. I don't know if the ratings drop off when Daniel Bryan comes on screen. I don't look at the ratings like that anymore. But from where I sit, I don't think that Daniel Bryan deserves anything less than the main event. I don't really care that some people say that he doesn't look like a wrestler and he's so much smaller than Brock Lesnar, because how many movies have we seen where it's David versus Goliath, and how many other matches have we seen in wrestling where it's been David versus Goliath? And there's ways to do it. There's ways to do it, and I think that I would have done it, honestly. I would have done Brock Lesnar versus Daniel Bryan, and that would have been my WrestleMania main event. But they want Mr. Roman Reigns, and they want to talk about how he is the next Rock, which, Mr. Lane, is Roman Reigns the second coming of the Rock? Let's be honest.
Honestly, I'm going to say no, absolutely not. And I'll just say this about, in this, and I think there's politics involved in this. You probably got Vince McMahon, of course, Paul Triple H Levesque, Stephanie McMahon Levesque. Then you probably have Michael Hayes involved in these booking decisions. But here's probably how they feel about these wrestler character-wise. Daniel Bryan, now, mind you, yes, he's an excellent wrestler. He's an excellent superstar. However, he unfortunately, and I hate to say this, he is injury prone still, unfortunately, as who he is, and yeah, he's the underdog. One of the best underdog wrestlers ever. Won the title at WrestleMania 30 in dramatic fashion. Love it. However, I just don't know if he can, get back to the championship picture yet. I think he will, but not right now. I just don't think that the bookers want him to be the champion or be in title contention right now. And as far as Dolph Ziggler is concerned, is he really WWE World Heavyweight Championship material? And according to I think the politics say no, and I think the politics, those guys I just said, they probably don't want him as World Heavyweight Champion. In my opinion, I mean, he's won the Intercontinental Championship a lot of times, several times now. I mean, he recently lost it to Bad News Barrett, and then he got supposedly fired and whatnot. So, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous with Dolph Ziggler. He was a former IC champion. Because if you're going to be a champion of a brand, you are responsible for that brand. You're the face of that company. It doesn't matter if it's Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, John Cena, you name it. You are the face. You are responsible to present that brand to all the television shows, to all the talk shows. You are that face of that brand. That's my feeling. And do I think Daniel Bryan or Dolph Ziggler or even Dean Ambrose are championship material right now? No, but is it subject to change? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's how I feel about it. So that's all.
I hear you, and I totally understand why some people think that Roman Reigns could be that guy that's going to present the company on talk shows and be the next John Cena, because John Cena has been doing this gig for 10 years. I mean, he was with WWE longer, but he's been the man, so to speak, for about 10 years. I mean, how much longer can he do it? So they're seeing Roman Reigns as the next guy. My problem is you can't force something like this. You have to let the fans tell you who the next big thing is. You can't. It doesn't work that way. You can't force a wrestler as the top babyface. Think of all the top guys over the past 20 years. No one has ever been forced down the fans' throats. The top baby faces. I'm talking like Hogan. I mean, in terms of initially. I mean, of course they shoved Hogan down our throats towards the end of his run. But I mean, initially, Hogan, Savage, Warrior. I would say Bret Hart would probably be the closest. Bret Hart would probably be the closest example of this situation that's happening with Roman Reigns. No offense to Bret Hart, but he was the chosen one at that time to replace Hulk Hogan and be the man. Whereas everyone else, Rock, Austin, Mick Foley, even Cena, they all got over in their own right first, and then they became the stars, the number one seeds, if you will, in the company. I don't think they're doing it backwards, honestly. They basically turned Roman Reigns into this cornerstone of the company before he was even accepted by the fans as that. But the attitude that I see is Vince McMahon thinks that they know more than we do, and we will eat what they feed us, which leads us into our next topic, the number one trending topic on Twitter all Sunday night and Monday. # cancel WWE Network. So this was the #1 trending topic in the United States. Now, I did hear that a lot of people did actually cancel the WWE Network. I want to know how Stephen Page feels about this hashtag. Is it bullcrap, or is it really a plea to make this company better? What do you think, Stephen Page?
I think that was just, some people just getting going. And it's just, it got some, something to it. But I bet you those people canceled their subscription for all about 10 minutes, and then they tweeted out their, screen caps of, their cancellation, whatever, the picture of their email or whatever. And then 10 minutes later, they were subscribing again.
Mr. Lane, what do you think?
You know what? I hate to say this, and I'm going to say this. It's Bush League as far as I'm concerned because, why in the heck would you all want to cancel the WWE Network? That, to me, that's the stupidest thing you can do as a wrestling fan. And here's why. Why in the heck would you want to pay $55 on a pay-per-view? I mean, let's be real about that. Think about it. I like the WWE.
Hold on. Sorry to interrupt. Do they actually still have the pay-per-view option for $55?
They do, and ironically enough, this morning I saw the Royal Rumble replay advertised for $55. I'm like, really? Who in the hell is going to buy this? $9, $9.99 on the network, and they replayed the 2 main matches on Raw for free. Who the hell is going to buy a $55 pay-per-view? Like, yes, so answer your question.
Exactly. Exactly, yes, because I know I have Verizon Fios here in Williamstown, and yeah, they were advertising the Royal Rumble, I think, for, like you just said, Rue, about $55. To me, it's Bush League. It's stupid. It's very stupid on part of wrestling fans all over. Because why in the heck would you want to cancel WWE Network? I mean, it's to me it's stupid. Well, it's very, very stupid because you can get all the pay-per-views for like $9.99 a month, and I love WWE Network. I've had it since day one, and I enjoy it. I can watch the old Nitro episodes. I can watch some WCW programming. They just added some primetime wrestling shows. They added new material, and as a matter of fact, and I'll admit this, I asked the network Facebook page about last month, when are they going to add the I don't know if y'all remember the rock and roll wrestling era or whatever it was with Cyndi Lauper and whatnot. I asked them
for my time.
Well, I did ask them when are they going to add the Hulk Hogan rock and wrestling shows onto the WWE network, because I asked them this on Facebook and they told me that they were going to do that real soon. So they're adding a lot of historic material. I mean, it's silly on the part of wrestling fans, to even do this on Twitter. I know they're trying to just get themselves maybe 15 minutes of fame, whatever. But then, it's ridiculous. It would be absolutely silly and ridiculous to cancel WWE Network.
The nail on the head right there. Getting their 15 minutes of fame.
That's really what that's. I mean, it trended on Twitter. Yeah, what doesn't trend on Twitter is what I want to know too. Because I mean, this is really why I don't tweet much like that. I don't say much on social media like that. I mean, it's ridiculous. I think it's absolutely ridiculous to hashtag cancel WWE Network. Come on, I mean, get the heck out of here. It's absolutely stupid. You can watch WCW, ECW. You can watch the old Raw shows. You can even watch Raw. You can watch SmackDown. You can and even WWE's done an excellent job of adding some original shows. Like for example, The Legends House. I mean, they even have Total Divas, which is a very popular show. But I love the Legends House better. I like that show better actually than Total Divas. Actually, I'll admit it, because it was an original show. Countdown's another good show as well. I mean, that's excellent too. I like some of their original shows. It's awesome.
And then you have the new 24 show. I don't know if you guys watched that yet.
I saw some of it, but I didn't watch the whole thing yet. I still got to finish watching that.
Yeah. It was pretty good. It was, this is stuff we'd already seen, but they threw in, the I don't know how far you got into it, but they threw a little bit of the Undertaker stuff in there. I was hoping for a little bit more, maybe see, Vince and the Undertaker at the hospital together, but I get why they didn't film that. I guess that was, private moment, between Vince and, an employee that Vince has had for a long time.
Absolutely.
And his, for what I guess he had a pretty serious concussion.
Yeah.
After WrestleMania, from what I've heard and people saying it was legit, wasn't
Right.
staged
Yeah.
by WWE.
Right. Because I think I saw a little bit of video footage. I think it was the following day after WrestleMania. They had some fans grouped up, with Michelle McCool and the Undertaker walking side by side, and the
Vince,
fans were still.
Vince left WrestleMania. Vince left the main event, and Vince never leaves his perch at the gorilla position.
Right.
There's
Good
not
point.
many people in the WWE that I think Vince would leave that position at gorilla to see that they're okay, and
Right.
Taker is one of them. There's a handful of guys, maybe even 2 or 3 more guys that he would leave that position.
Right. I hear you.
The Horsemen Hangout tonight has been brought to you by Goldfish, the baked snacked crackers that are delicious handheld snacks you can have anytime in the boardroom, in the office, in the kitchen, in the bathroom, on the toilet, anywhere. They're great snacks. These are pretzels.
Good snacks.
These are the
You
pretzels.
wash it down with some Oakhurst spring water.
Nice. Woo!
It is time for a segment on the show, which I like to call Frozen in Time. So how we work this segment is I'm going to say something ridiculously stupid, and you guys are going to freeze in time like you normally do when Mr. Z says something crazy. All right? Here goes. Then I'll cut back and forth. This is a good segment. This is a great idea. Here goes. At WrestleMania, if I was in charge, I'll tell you what, if I was in charge, I would have Tito Santana win the world title from Brock Lesnar.
Ah.
Sorry, my eyes hurt.
Okay. All right. Oh, it looks like Mr. Oh, okay. It looks like Mr. Lane won the Frozen.
You cheated. You've got a pause button or something.
Although
I didn't have no pause button, man. No way. I was. No way, buddy.
Here is another segment entitled. Here's another new segment. Since we're short people, we're going to start another crazy new segment. The segment is called "What Did Y'all Have for Dinner?" I'll go first. I had some pasta with cheese. Mr. Lane, what did y'all have for dinner?
Well, I just had 2 hamburgers, macaroni and cheese, and some water. So that was my dinner.
2 hamburgers, macaroni and cheese, and some water. Sounds delicious to me. Mr. Page, did y'all eat dinner? And if so, what did y'all have for dinner?
I had some French fries and I had a cheeseburger with some Oakhurst spring water.
Nice.
French fries with cheeseburger with Oakhurst spring water sounds delicious. And that wraps up that segment of What Did Y'all Have for Dinner? Up next on the Horsemen Hangout, it is time for some trivia. Let's do some trivia right about now.
All
right. And the trivia question obviously would be just between Mr. Stephen Page and Mr. Lane.
All right.
The trivia question is, in 1993. All right, give me 1 second here. Give me a Jeopardy song, Mr. Lane. Jeopardy song.
Dum dum da dum 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 da 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 dum da 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 dum da dum da dun 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 da da dum dum dun dun dum bum bum.
All right. Thank you. Now, the question that I have for y'all, if I could bring this exact answer up, because this is something. Oh gosh, come on now, give me the. Oh crap. You know what? Team. All right. Here we go. Let me get my Wikipedia here. All right, here we go with this random question. I'm gonna go with Mr. Lane first. Oh, All Americans. Shoot. Come on now, Jesus, this is awful. This is dead air right now. This is dead air. Oh my God, I am an awful host.
Bum 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 bum.
Bum 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 ba bum 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 ba bum 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 ba bum 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 ba bum 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 ba bum 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 ba bum 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 ba bum 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 bum. All right, so all right. The question is, I was watching. Let me give you a little preface before the question. I was watching an old clip of Conan O'Brien the other day with Yokozuna and Mr. Fuji. The question is, that year was 1993, and there was a Survivor Series. The team that Yokozuna was on was called the Foreign Fanatics. They took on the All-Americans. I need you to give me every member of Yokozuna's Survivor Series team in 1993, called the Foreign Fanatics. And I will tell you right now, there is 1, 2, 3, 4 members of the Foreign Fanatics. I already gave you one of them, which is Yokozuna. So all you have to do is give me 1, 2, 3 of the remaining members. I'll tell you before Mr. Lane, before you answer, they took on the team of the All-Americans consisting of Lex Luger, The Undertaker, and the Steiner brothers. Okay, so the other team, Yokozuna, and 3 other men. Who are those 3 other men? Mr. Lane, go.
I was gonna say, oh my goodness, oh boy.
This is tough.
Was Crush part of that team?
Well, give me your 3 answers, and I'll tell you if you're correct.
All right, I was gonna say Crush and crap, because I gotta think of who was on Fuji's team. Wait a minute, who were the heels back then? Oh my gosh. The only ones I can think of, I know it's not it. Ted DiBiase and IRS.
All right, so Mr. Lane's going with Crush, Ted DiBiase, and IRS. Very good. Mr. Stephen Page, take a stab at this. Who was Yokozuna's Foreign Fanatics teammates?
There was 3 other ones?
Yeah.
Okay. I will say Ludwig Borga.
Okay.
And Crush.
Okay.
You sure there wasn't a 5th one? You sure there wasn't 2 more after those 2?
Yeah, you know what? Initially, I definitely thought it was 5, but not according to this. It was a 4-man team.
Sure it wasn't the Quebecers?
Let me just say this. I will accept that, and your winner for the trivia today is Stephen Page, because we have Yokozuna, Ludwig Borga, Crush, and Quebecer Jacques Rougeau. So I will accept that as your correct answer. Mr. Lane, you were correct with Crush, but unfortunately...
Right, yeah, because he had turned heel, I think.
Right, but unfortunately, Mr. Stephen Page has bested you today, Mr. Page, with another notch in his belt in this trivia round. Yeah. All right, up next. Did any of you two want to discuss any NFL Super Bowl predictions before we get in?
I'm glad you asked, because you got the Seattle Seahawks against the New England Patriots. Now, I got something I got to show. This was from a friend of mine. I just hope Steve's paying attention to this. So I'm hoping you're paying attention there, brother. I see your Patriot gear, but I actually have some. This is from a friend of mine, and he gave me this shirt when he paid a visit to my apartment. Here it is. If you can see that, Cam Chancellor and Cam Track. Look at that. Take a good look at that. Part of the Legion of Boom of the Seahawks.
Going down.
You think so, brother?
Oh yes.
I have to respectfully disagree with you.
Stupid friggin' NFL investigation into this stupid Deflategate, and they will use it to steamroll the Seattle Seahawks. Bill Belichick is going to have the game plan of the century, and he will take down Pete Carroll, who is a loser.
Yeah, I remember when Pete Carroll coached the Patriots too.
Yeah, yep. And he sucked.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Me, I watched those years. He sucked.
Yeah, you're
right.
And
he had a good coach back then, and he's going to go down to the best coach in the NFL, Bill Belichick.
I'm gonna say the score, with all due respect, Mr. Page, Seahawks 30 and New England Patriots 27. Right there, ladies and gentlemen. 30-27.
Green Bay.
I expect. I just think it's going to be a good game. It could be a lower scoring game. We don't know. But here's my thing there, bro. See, Seattle is a dangerous team. They are very dangerous. As far as the
they like to take PEDs as well. You know, the media doesn't like to bring that up.
Now, see, here's the thing that New England's going to have to do. Excuse me, and this is what they're going to have to do. The Seattle Seahawks are very good at options. They are very good at the option play. I heard, during this week or last week, the Patriots, I think, plan to do like 7 men in the box or something to stop Marshawn Lynch or something like that. Because I heard a little story about that. They're supposed to bring 7 men to the box. Having said that,
won't get fined. Yeah.
Having said that, the linebackers still need to be disciplined. They still need to stay in their position, because I was talking about this with some coworkers of mine. If the linebacker commits to the wrong player, it's going to be a big play for the opposition. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all, because that's how Seattle plays. They like to do options. Yes, they can. Do they have a shot at stopping Marshawn Lynch? Absolutely. However, Russell Wilson can run too, and he's proven that too in the NFC Championship game in the latter stages. Now, I just think I think for the Patriots side, Revis. I'm glad that y'all got Darrelle Revis. To me, arguably one of the best cornerbacks in the game right now. When he was with New York Jet, he was excellent. When he was with Tampa, he was Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa wasn't that good. But now he's on.
I'm not good if I was playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers either.
Yeah, well, they're so 13 years ago. They're so 2002. Anyway, having said that, I just think Revis is going to be a key part for their play, and I personally think Gronkowski and Edelman are going to have a big performance. I expect Gronkowski to do well. I expect them potentially. Excuse me. I expect them potentially to maybe catch one touchdown pass. But if there's a wild card for your Patriots, Steven, LeGarrette Blount, former Pittsburgh Steeler, I mean, ever since he came back to New England, he's been a solid running back for you guys. I mean, ever since he re-signed with re-signed with your Patriots, he's been a solid running back for y'all. So, having said that, I think he could be a potential MVP candidate too. But we got to see what Tom Brady's going to do, and hopefully it's a classic Super Bowl. I expect this thing to be close this time.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout like against Indianapolis. Hell, it could be. Any game could be a blowout,
Yeah, well, it was terrible.
Game as well, But I think, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady are going to use this bullcrap to fuel them to their fourth Super Bowl title. Brady's been in. How many Super Bowls is this now?
This is I believe his. I think it's 6.
Last 2 and he's won 3. So
6. This is his 6th Super Bowl. He won 3, lost 2. He'll play 1 on Sunday. That's 6 Super Bowl attempts for him. So the last time the Patriots won was 10 years ago. So keep that in mind. So I'm picking the Seattle Seahawks. Although the Patriots, as of right now, this moment, they are 1-point favorites. Believe it or not, which to me is shocking because, as the old adage goes, to be the best, you got to be the best, you got to beat the best. Right now, the Seattle Seahawks are the best. The New England Patriots have a chance to be the best team in the National Football League if they can dethrone the champions. Like you're saying, Steve, you're saying that it will happen. So we'll see. I mean, I expect this to be a classic game. I don't expect it to be a blowout like last year because, the Seattle Seahawks just dominated that game. That game was, unfortunately, as a Bronco fan here, that game was over by halftime, man. It was terrible. It was a terrible game to watch. It was awful. Awful game.
Well, with that said, I think we'll wrap up our football talk because at this time in the show, it is time for Promo Mania. And who would like to challenge me in Promo Mania? I've got a character this week. Who would like to challenge me? I honestly, I don't think anybody ever dethroned Rusev Lane yet.
Well, let me think here. Unless Steve's got something, I might give it a shot here.
Right. I'm good, Mr. Lane.
All right, then, me against Mr. Lane. Mr. Lane, you get ready. I'm going to go right now. And here I go. And I am the one and only Mr. Fuji. Ah, Mr. Lane, my Yokodama, he come for you. He take your body, pick you up, and give you the sumo splash on the ground. The Pantai job, Mr. Lane, my Yokodama, he take you, Mr. Lane, my Yokodama, my Yokodama. My Yokozuna eat you, ha 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 ha. He eat you, ha 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 ha. My Yokozuna kill you, ha ha ha. All right.
Yokozuna, Mr. Lane is right here. Mr. Lane is right here. I'm ready for Yokozuna. I'd rather challenge him to a sumo wrestling match. We'll see who the better man is. What you got, Yokozuna? You got the Yokozuna, you got the Mr. Lane right here, and Mr. Fuji. Mr. Fuji, you sure you want to be the challenge Yokozuna to the sumo wrestling match? Huh? You wanted to challenge the wrestling match?
I my Yokozuna challenge you. My Yokozuna challenge you.
Well, Yokozuna will go down. I don't need to body slam Yokozuna. I could just knock him down and beat him. And beat him on the ground until he can't get up. And then I can just go and take it to the extreme. Mr. Lane will take it to the extreme, Yokozuna. Are you ready for ECW? No. Ha!
Mr. Lane, can you do that laugh one more time and I'll tap out? Go.
No, no, no.
All right, Stephen Page, by default, you're the judge and jury and executioner here. Who won Promo Mania, Mr. Fuji, or I guess that was Mr. Lane just cutting a promo on me?
I'm going to have to go with Mr. Fuji, the winner.
Ah, Mr. Fuji won! I told you my Yokozuna beat you, Mr. Lane.
That's what I think about it. It was crickets.
Crickets
Well,
all
I will give Rue a round of applause. Round of applause for Rue TV. So congratulations there, brother.
Very good there. Very good. Very good. All right, guys, we are wrapping up our show this evening. I want to get in some final thoughts before we go off the air. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to cover in terms of wrestling. That's pretty much it. Tonight there's some NXT and some Lucha if you get that channel. But Stephen Page, is Kevin Steen supposed to be fighting Sami Zayn? Is that tonight or at the next pay-per-view? That's not tonight, is it?
I believe that's on the 11th. I believe tonight. I have not watched it yet. I will try to catch up on it tomorrow. I believe they are doing the contract signing for February 11th special event live on the WWE Network for, of course, we know $9.99.
That is a great song there they have. $9.99. What you gonna pay?
$9.99.
$9.99.
All the great matches and all the great blah blah. And it's that. What you gonna pay?
$9.99.
Anyway, I do pay $9.99, unfortunately, so Vince McMahon can add some more money to his grandchildren's trust fund. Trust fund. All right. Anyway, my final thoughts are: I'm going to say that I am looking forward to baseball season. I'm looking forward to more baseball talk in the Horsemen Hangout as we inch closer to spring. We're going to be closer to spring next week as we get to February. Once February hits, the time rolls really quick to March. And, of course, pitchers and catchers report in February. It's going to be really interesting. A lot of people down on the Phillies. I really don't give a crap, honestly. The one thing I want to see, though, is I want to see those high-priced guys out the door. I want to see Howard, I don't know, fall in a bear trap or something. I don't know. We got to get Howard out of there. Papelbon. If they can trade him, trade him. I'm just looking forward to baseball season and spring and summer and Rue TV and Mr. Lane and Mr. Stephen Page and more Horseman Hangouts and fun for everyone. Mr. Lane, what are your final thoughts?
Well, I'm looking forward to the Super Bowl, and I'm very disappointed that we didn't get that much snow. I wanted to ask Steve briefly, how much snow did y'all get up there in New England, by the way? I
measure it with. In my area, it's very windy, so it's very hard to track how much we got with the wind blowing it around in different places. Okay. I would expect we probably got maybe 10 to 11, maybe 12 inches.
That's what I thought, because you living in the New England area, they were supposed to get the most snow anyway. I was just a little disappointed because I had spent a couple nights at a motel. I thought it would be a big storm. Unfortunately, because me and Rue being New Jersey natives, they had restricted traveling Monday night at 11 p.m. and then I think it was a few hours later, the next morning, they lifted the travel restriction. And I think Long Island. I have a friend that lives in Long Island. A lady friend that I know, she had over like 20 plus inches of snow along the Long Island area too. So they got hit hard. That's of course east of New York City. So that's where Long Island is at. So that's my point. But I'm just disappointed that we didn't get that much snow. Looking forward to the Super Bowl. If Steve wins, if Steve's Patriots win the Super Bowl, I'll congratulate him on Twitter, Facebook, whatever. But I'm going to still stick with the Cam track and the Seahawks. Look at that. Get a good shot at that, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice shirt.
Cam track. Camtrack?
Camtrack.
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 All right, everybody.
All right, for real. Mr. Page, any final thoughts?
No, I'm good. Don't forget to drink your Oakhurst spring water. There we go.
Yeah, that first spring water is very important. And what's going to happen right now is we're going to pick up my doggy here, and we are going to sign off for Mr. Stephen Page, for Mr. Lane, and for myself and Biscotti. Raise the fours. Raise the fours. Have a good night, guys. Thanks. Be safe. And we will see you next week on the Horsemen Hangout.
Camtrack.
Camtrack.
Patriots.